And we're live here on YouTube. Like to welcome those listening in podcast land. And also like to welcome my buddy Rich. Rich, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good, Mike. The eye is getting better.
Looking slightly worse, but getting better, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's not as puffy anymore. It's not as puffy anymore, which helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, colorization, it doesn't look the best.
And, you didn't get it by a fake fight that nobody could watch.
No, I did not. Or an underground fight club. It was just clumsiness.
That's okay. Work going well?
Yeah, work's going well. Mike? How have you been doing? You did a musical last night?
Yeah, so it's busy season. Like, I'm really busy this week, so I did the musical last night, have musical tonight, have musical tomorrow afternoon, and then we leave for state on Thursday, and I don't get back till Friday. But I took the entire week of Thanksgiving off, so
nice.
I have the whole week off. That'll be nice. But no, it's been good. I mean, I made some changes and really made some people happy, and earned my pay, as they say. So,
well, that's always good, Mike. All right, Mike. Today's show kind of on the light side.
Side. Ooh, buddy.
What? I guess we
don't have a lot to talk about, but we have all the things to talk about, Rich.
Yeah. So, without getting into the details, we're going to go into the NASCAR corner as we got one race to talk about, and then closing the book on NASCAR until February. And we're going to be talking the NFL, Mike. And Mike, I feel a soapbox moment might be coming on.
I'm gonna do my best not to take 45 minutes to talk on one thing, but woo, buddy, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna. All right,
Mike. All that and more, but what do we got to do first?
We gotta broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich. And we're back. Rich, I gotta ask, because I haven't done that in a long time. Now, when I used to do it, Rich would be on taking a drink, rolling his eyes a little bit, but did you miss it a little bit?
I can't hear it as much anymore because I hear it. I see the hand gesture, but it's been muted on my end though.
Oh,
yeah,
weird.
I know what you're doing, but eventually it like tails off, and then I hear in the roll part it tails off on my end.
Oh, that's weird. Must be the way that we're connecting through Facebook, whatever. Man, that's a bummer. But do you miss the long intro?
No, not really.
No, okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was fun. That's okay. We don't have to do it every time. Just once in a while.
It's all good.
But
all right, Mike. So we got a poll question this week. Honey Nut Cheerios versus Captain Crunch. And I'm hoping by our poll results that they realized it was plain original Captain Crunch and not a variant of Crunch Berries or Peanut Butter or Oops All Berries. But we'll take the results no matter what they are. Mike, I went with Honey Nut Cheerios. I like a Captain Crunch, but overall Honey Nut Cheerios is the better cereal for me.
So, I voted Captain Crunch because if I'm having a bowl of cereal, I want Captain Crunch. Mm-hmm. I would take Captain Crunch every time. But as a snack with my kids, Honey Nut Cheerios. That's all we have that. We go to Sam's Club every time we go to Sam's Club, we pick up the 2-pack of Honey Nut Cheerios, and we need to do that at least once a month because we go through it because we snack on those a lot. They are a delicious snack, and they're not bad for you, not as bad for you as a lot of other snacks out there. and everybody enjoys them. So that's where I went. Rich, we had 15 people vote. We do have a shout out to say. Deborah Scott. She's a librarian for a school that. Long story short, a school approached the school that I work at to see if we can share tech departments, which means that I have to go up there. Well, she was their librarian last year, which meant she was the one in charge of taking care of, she did the tech when we weren't there for the Chromebooks. And anyway, so she commented that she thinks King Vitamins should have been on the list. I didn't go into the details that this has been a year in the making poll, and that suggestion would have been needed a year ago.
I don't think I've ever heard of King's Vitamins.
You don't basically, it was a healthier form of Captain Crunch. It literally was just Captain Crunch with vitamins made in and in different shapes. Like, it essentially was the exact same thing. I told her that it wasn't on there. She said it should have been. So that's kind of where it goes. But with that being said, we had 15 votes this week, Rich.
Okay.
For Honey Nut Cheerios, we had Sue Hart, Lauren James, AJ Hendricks, Jason Flanker, Craig Johnson, and Rich Hendricks. That's 6, which means your winner, Captain Crunch, Mikey Hart, Pam Hendricks, Bobby Hansen, Alex Cruz, Ashley Shriepeck, Lene Rubis, Lindsay Kendra, Josh Hendricks, and Eric Thompson. Thanks for all those that voted. We appreciate it.
All right, Mike. So this week we're on to our final 4 portions for breakfast entrees, and we're going to go bacon versus omelets.
Man, bacon versus omelet.
Oh, yeah, bacon versus omelet. And no, you can't combine the two to say you're going to put bacon in your omelet.
But what if you put, you don't, see, here's the problem with the poll. And again, I'm not saying, I'm not trying to point fingers at you. I'm just saying the problem with the poll is that you set it up in a way that you have nothing saying that it can't be a bacon omelet, which means it's just an omelet, whatever you want in your omelet. So if I want bacon in my omelet, technically, that's acceptable.
All right, Mike. Let me put it this way then. Would you prefer that the omelet, since you could, in theory, combine putting, well, you could have, there's sometimes you make the omelet with bacon.
Yep.
Would you prefer biscuits and gravy or waffles going up against the omelet?
I think it would be I think that would be a better, either way, it doesn't matter, because at some point, bacon has to go against stuff and beat it, and that's just the truth. So, leave it the way it is. It's fine. Okay. I'm just saying, I'm sure, by the way...
An omelet is a tricky slope, because everything that it's gone up against typically is inside an omelet.
Right? Here's the thing. I'm not saying I've ever seen it, but now I kind of want to try it. I want to try a biscuits and gravy omelet. Chop up your biscuit, pour gravy in the omelet, pour some biscuits in the omelet. See, I could have a biscuits and gravy omelet. I could have a waffle omelet. Omelets are great. But I'm just saying, does it really matter? No, it's fine.
All right, really so cool. We'll keep it going. We'll try and get that poll up after we get done recording and talking today.
Yep.
All right, Mike, are you ready to make one last left turn?
Yeah, let's head into the NASCAR corner wow. All year we've been doing that flawlessly. Totally screwed it up. Rich, how about you take us into the NASCAR corner?
All right, so we're going to go into the NASCAR corner, which is presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. They're in Moline, Illinois, down on 5th Avenue, and you can also find them on eBay. Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. So, Mike, we were down in Phoenix for the NASCAR Championship race.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. Your winner, Joey Logano. Mike, your pick of Ryan Blaney came in second. My pick of William Byron came in third. On the non-playoff side, Ross Chastain came in 19th. And my pick of Christopher Bell finished higher, finishing 5th. Mike, in the playoffs, I won 12-11, and in retabulating and rechecking the scores for the overall, you ended up winning 28-26.
Oh, so there was a clerical error, and I had been ahead for more than...
Yeah, there was clerical error. I checked it.
Okay.
You win.
Okay. I mean, I knew that I won. I knew as soon as Joey Logano finished first and Ryan Blaney finished second, I was going to win because it guaranteed you couldn't get enough points to pass. I was going to at least tie you. I wasn't guaranteeing I was going to win, but I was at least going to tie you, and so, that's good.
Yeah. So, Mike, what did you think about Joey Logano winning it? There's been some pushback of a guy that had an average finish of 17th, being the NASCAR champion, and maybe even some people talking about how they need to go back to the old style of playoffs where it doesn't hinge on technically on how you finish in the last race of the season.
So this one gets a little tricky.
Okay.
And I'm going to explain why. One, in all honesty, 17th is not a terrible finishing position, average finishing position of a champion. That's not terrible. It's not great, and we've had champions that have been significantly better than that. But in baseball, who wins the championship? A lot of the times,
it might be the best champion. It might be the best team.
It might be the best team, but a lot of times,
but it could be a wild card team that technically was the team that had the worst record in the playoffs.
Yep.
But they got hot at the right time.
It's you getting hot at the right time. This happens regularly in, especially baseball and basketball. Football tends to, the cream rises to the top a little bit more in basketball or in football, but it still happens. I mean,
yeah, but I get why NASCAR went to this type of playoff model, because they wanted the last race to mean something. If you had kept a three race.
Okay, Rich, I'm gonna go back. We're gonna go back to 2012.
Okay.
The last Super Bowl I gambled on. No, not the last Super Bowl I gambled on. Sorry. We're gonna go back to 2012. Okay.
Yeah.
Giants beat the Patriots. The Patriots were 13-3. Do you know what the Giants' record was that year?
Were they 9-8?
9-7. There was one less game, but yes, 9-7 on the year. Wait, what? You mean to tell me that the team that by the way, they were fourth. They were ranked fourth in the NFC. And if I remember correctly, that wasn't even a close, they only limped into the playoffs because somebody has to win. And they were only ranked fourth because they were the divisional winner in it, and not because they actually had a better record than anybody. So, again, it happens regularly that we see all sorts of anomalies like this. It's a one-year thing. Let's see what next year looks like. Okay? Anyway, that's all I'm saying about that.
Okay. So I mean, I like that NASCAR does the playoffs in a way that the last race matters, because you'd hate to get to the very last race and you already know who the points champion is, or somebody's got to do really, or the person that's leading has to really get in a bad spot
and
to lose it.
In general, back in I remember watching NASCAR in a way that when the second to last, I even remember races where the third to last race, the champion basically has been crowned. That even if the car doesn't start, they have such a lead that you can't change it. So back in the day, that was a thing. I didn't mind it. But I do like the playoffs where, it kind of... Because those last few races, especially when you're competing against football, you're competing against all the other things in... It makes it really hard to do anything there. So I'm game with it. So
yeah, but I like it too. So we'll be the cars are going into the garage, getting retooled.
Yep.
And I don't think we'll really have much. We won't be going into the NASCAR corner again until probably late January, maybe early February, when we preview the season, where we'll be talking about new rides, possibly the changes that could be coming with how NASCAR decides to handle the charter situation with Front Row and 2311.
I think that'll definitely be a talking. We'll definitely talk about that at some point
when there's more details. Right now, we don't know all the details. I think I saw one video that showed that because of a clause in Tyler Reddick's contract that says he has to have a chartered ride, maybe there's a chance that him and Denny Hamlin switch rides until they get this resolved, and Reddick drives the 11 and Joe Gibbs, with Denny going down driving for his own team temporarily until the situation gets resolved.
I would have to see you'd have to see what Joe Gibbs says about that. That would be an interesting one.
All just speculative. Not much news coming out of what Front Row may or may not do as well.
Yeah.
So we could be going in the NASCAR corner once we get some more details on that, as well as just giving a preview of the season where we pick the driver that we think is going to win the entire thing before the clash at the Coliseum.
Okay.
So Mike, go ahead and take us out.
This has been the NASCAR Corner, presented as always by III Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out on 5th Avenue for all your sports
cards and memorabilia needs.
Oh, thank you. III
Sports Cards Incorporated.
Oh, sorry about that. Let's head into the gridiron as we got tons to talk about here. What do you want?
Let's skip over that Bears and Patriots matchup.
Yeah. Oh no, I was gonna
because we know
it's gonna be. We're gonna talk about that for a while.
There's gonna be a lot of talking points with the Chicago Bears. So Mike, how did our locks of the week go?
I picked the Bills over the Colts. The Bills pulled it off. I am perfect on the year for locks of the week. Rich, you picked the Chargers over the Titans again. You are 5-game streak, bro. Look at you.
Back to 500.
How about our upsets, Rich?
Upset specials. The Dolphins. You picked the Dolphins over the Rams. The Dolphins won 23-17. You are up to 3-7. Mike, I picked the Panthers over the Giants, and the Panthers pulled it off 20-17 in overtime out in Germany, improving me to 3-7. Thursday Night Football, Week 11, we saw the Commanders take on the Eagles, and the Eagles won 26-18. Mike, you're 6-6 picking the Thursday night games. I'm 7-5.
So, Rich, I do want to point out, as we look at the season, I just figured it's a little bit of a lighter week, kind of. Looking at the Balls and Sticks podcast pick'em, which you can still join. Rich, you are at 94 total points, and I'm at 86. So even though my locks of the week are doing better than yours, your overall picks are doing better than mine. But we're still both significantly over 500.
That is correct. And Mike, the final thing to talk about where we could be getting off the rails, but so be prepared. Be prepared, Mike.
How now, Brian?
And to all of our, I guess our listeners, the Patriots and the Bears, we both picked the Bears.
Yep.
Because on paper, they're
a better team.
They're a better team. But on the field was another thing, as the Bears lost 19-3. So we are both 5-5 in picking the Bears games, and the Bears are 4-6 after this game, Mike, or shortly during the lead up into early in the week. The Bears decided to fire offensive coordinator Shane Waldron after not scoring a touchdown in 3 straight games now.
Something like
I believe
that.
it was 3 straight games. Passing game coordinator, running backs coach Thomas Brown was promoted to OC. Thomas Brown has play calling experience as being the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers last year. Not the best thing to have on your resume, as bad as the Panthers were last year. But I guess he was also the offensive coordinator and play caller for the University of Miami as well. But another coach off of the Sean McVay coaching tree, as he previously worked there before going to Carolina. So, Mike, I know your opinion on it, but I'll at least give you a lead-in, set you up. Did the Bears fire the wrong person, or did they not do enough?
Rich, 8. 8 is my answer.
8's your answer.
Your head coach is the guy, theoretically, who gets to pick his offensive coordinators. At least is in the room where it happens when you're picking these guys. You also get to pick your defensive coordinators and all your other coordinators and coaches. The Bears have fired 8 coaches. 8 coaches under Matt Eberflus. Well, Matt, I got a question. Your job is to help pick these guys, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You do such a terrible job doing this that in 2 years we've had to fire 8 of these guys? And why do we have to fire these guys, you might ask? It's because you throw them under the bus. If Matt Eberflus called me for a job, you know what I'm going to say? No. I don't care if he said, you get to be the offensive coordinator of the Bears for tomorrow's game. We're going to pay you $30 million. I'm going to say no. Because you're going to throw me under the bus and I'm going to get fired anyway. You are a terrible head coach. You have no reason being there. You need to be fired, sir. Explain to me how you can... So last year, a year ago this time, I think is when it happened, Matt Eberflus was asked, hey, what's going on with Justin Fields? He doesn't seem to be doing as good as he did last year. What's going on? Rich, do you remember what his response was?
Something to the tune of, that's what I have offensive coaches for.
I have an offensive coordinator and I have a quarterback's coach. They're the ones that deal with him. The amount of stuff that's wrong with that statement boggles my mind. We're not gonna get into that. But so he throws his offensive coordinator and quarterback's coach under the bus. They both get fired later in the season.
At the end of the season, Gutsy, and I don't know who the quarterbacks coach was at the time. They made it through the entire season.
But then we do things like, we hire a offensive coordinator. By the way, you're in the room where it happens. Why are you so terrible at picking these guys? And if you're so terrible at picking these guys, why are we letting you pick these guys? By the way, how come, at least in the beginning of the season, and even more recently, I would argue that the offense looks similar to the offense we had last year? If you're not the one calling plays, if you're not the one setting this offense up, why does it look so similar? Can't say it's because we got the same quarterback.
Yeah, that is true, Mike. I think I saw.
Heck, we don't even have the same running backs, or half of our O-line is different.
The O-line is always different, Mike, because people can't stay healthy. But that's besides the point. But I think I saw a graphic come up on my feed the other day that showed that Justin Fields has 10 touchdown passes. Caleb Williams has 10, and Fields has played in 3 less games and isn't even the starting quarterback anymore.
Yep. So what are we doing here? We're going to fire our offensive coordinator mid-season, and the team thinks this is the solution to how to make the team, how to make it the fans happy? I'm sorry, Rich. What were the fans chanting in Chicago mid-game this last week?
Fire, Flus.
Alliteration aside, firing your offensive coordinator is not going to make fans happy.
But I think it is a step in the right direction.
But we're firing the wrong guy.
Why? I think that they should have gone higher and probably relieved Eberflus of his duties.
You don't have to fire the guy, but just say, well, you have your head coach in name only. Everybody else gets to make the decision. You make nothing anymore. He's lost the locker room. His team is saying that he's lost the locker room. By the way, that question wasn't asked after this game this week. It was asked before it. So when you have players a week before this game saying that Matt Eberflus has lost the locker room, that's the time to fire that head coach. Because once you lose the locker room, all you are is a cancer anymore. The closest thing that the front office can hope for is a lead Tasso moment.
And Eberflus flips the script and
just pisses everybody off. Sorry for that language. We normally try not to use that. But he angers everybody in the locker room, and they unite against hating him. That's the only thing. That's the best case scenario right now. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. Matt Eberflus is going to be a cancer on this team and continue to be as long as his name is on the placard that says head coach.
Okay. I can't disagree with you on it. I think that
Rich, I got a question.
That he should have been fired. That I think he should be fired, but
the Bears don't fire head coaches mid-season.
They just don't. For whatever reason, they've never fired a head coach mid-season, even if the paperwork, even if the body of work on the field shows that a change is needed. They just don't do it.
And I can understand that. And there's reasons why. One, the same thing that happened in Vegas. Fire.
The interim coach turns it around, and then you got the pressure. Well, do we change course and open up the interview process, or do we trust the locker room that they united underneath the interim guy, and he gets the head coaching job? It worked out. It was in the situation with Rich Bisacci. They should have given him a chance to keep the job. They didn't. They did the same thing when they went to Antonio Pierce. This time, he kept the job. Has that one worked out?
No.
Not too well. Not too well for the Vegas Raiders.
Now, here's the thing here's my problem. Rich, how long have I been blowing the trumpet of fire Eberflus?
Probably since midway through last year.
Right. Okay. What head coaches were available in this last offseason? There's only one name that you need to bring up, because there's only one name that I think would have been a viable candidate in Chicago, and I think it would have been great for the team.
I think there's two, but
sure, let's go with
Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel.
Oh, I actually am not thinking of either of those two.
Okay,
I'm thinking somebody completely different. How about somebody that played in Chicago?
Okay.
Somebody who, needed to get out of a college contract because...
All right. Mr. Jim Harbaugh.
Mr. Jim Harbaugh. And here's the deal. If Jim Harbaugh is there, who knows the college landscape better last year going into the draft when you have the number 1 pick overall and you're going to take a quarterback, apparently, than a guy that was in the college ranks last year scouting every team?
Jim Harbaugh.
And even if he doesn't get to convince you not to draft, which, by the way, I don't think that it was the wrong decision. Well, I do think it was a wrong decision, because I think Justin Fields is a better quarterback than he got credit for in Chicago. I think his body of work this year has proven that he's a better quarterback than than what Chicago used him as. But we're going to ignore that side of it. We're going to say you guaranteed that you were going to draft a quarterback. Okay, we're going to go to that. And in such, he gets to help make that decision. And then he gets to help, by the way, a guy who was a quarterback in the NFL. A guy that has coached in every level of the game. A guy that legitimately, I understand that the Chargers are not doing great this year.
They're 6-3. They're lined up to make the playoffs.
Everybody thought, though, that they were going to turn it all the way around and be look like Kansas City. Not everybody's going to look like Kansas City, especially when you got to play Kansas City twice in a year. But imagine Jim Harbaugh coming into Chicago. One, you bring in the guy you drafted home. Man, doesn't that sound great?
It does.
The fans from is it Ann Arbor, right? Yeah, Ann Arbor.
Yeah, Ann Arbor.
The fans from Ann Arbor aren't that far away. It's not that far of a move. And this is what I said they should have done last year, by the way. Now, we're going to fire our head coach.
Again. The new head coach is going to be
Eric Bieniemy?
Quarterback. Yeah, the new head coach is going to get a quarterback that he didn't draft.
He'll get 3 or 4 years. So, right at the end of his. So, in 2 or 3 years, we'll draft another quarterback, and the next year the head coach will get fired because he hasn't been able to turn it around immediately, and then we'll saddle some other guy with the next quarterback we draft.
And guess what, Mike? Probably if we hire a new head coach and it still doesn't work out, I bet you the front office guy will be let go of next, and then
yep, you're right.
The new head guy will be inheriting a head coach that he didn't hire.
Head coach and quarterback.
A head coach and a quarterback that they didn't draft together.
By the way, I really do think Ryan Poles, I don't know that this is a personnel issue. I really don't think it's a personnel issue in that the team that they're putting on the field. I don't think those are the guys that's the problems. I think we have some talent that we haven't seen in Chicago in a generation.
We just don't got the right guy to put it all together and lead them.
I genuinely think that. I think Ryan Poles has done an amazing job. I think what he's doing with, and I think I'm worried that part of the problem is that his hands are tied with the decision to fire anyone, to fire the head coach. But outside of that, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think Harbaugh would have been a good coach, but if you look back on how Chicago pays its coaches and selects its coaches, they just don't pay top dollar for coaches. They don't.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why I think it would be hard for them to get a guy like Belichick or Vrabel as well. But we shall see. But I agree, Mike. I don't think that Eberflus will be back next year, and unfortunately, that's just going to start the cycle of frustrations all over again. But it's also going to be the third head coach that Ryan Poles has chosen.
And that's a problem. But again, I don't know. Is he the one getting to actually choose it, or is he just getting told from the up above?
All right, Mike. Week number 11. Let's get through these picks and then talk about our power rankings where...
Oh, we'll get into it again.
Where you'll get to find out how far the Bears fell.
Bears play the Packers this week. I've said it already. I don't think the Bears win another game. Yeah, by the way, I forgot to make. Well. Let me go back into that just for this much time. One of the arguments that people make is, well, who are you going to get in offensive coordinator, or who are you going to promote? Who are you going to get up there? My argument against that concept, Rich, how many games do you think the Bears win the rest of the season?
1 or 2 at most.
Okay. Is it going to be because of or in spite of Matt Eberflus?
Probably in spite of.
Okay. Is bringing in you, Rich Hendricks, out of Davenport, Iowa, bringing you in, is that going to change whether or not the Bears have an opportunity to win 1 or 2 more games?
Probably not.
Okay.
So you're taking the standpoint of there's nothing to lose if you do
nothing to lose.
Fire him?
Nothing to lose if you fire him. Except, I've been saying it, he's lost the locker room, so he's a cancer. So what do you have to lose? You have to lose cancer out of your building. And that is a huge thing to take out. And that's why I think now's the time to fire him. I'm done. I mean, you can respond, but I'm done.
Okay. All right, so we're both taking the Packers, and I think that even without the events that have happened in the past 3 games over not scoring an offensive touchdown, I probably still would have taken the Packers in this game.
I don't. I think if the Bears would have won 2 even of the last 3, I think I still could pick the Bears on this one. But them losing all 3, they've lost my confidence, and you're right. I'm not picking them. Okay, locks of the week this week, Rich. It's a odd week, so do you have it or do I have it? I don't remember.
You have it, Mike. You have it.
I'm going to pick Texans over the Cowboys.
I like the pick. Dallas has lost their starting quarterback. Their offensive line is just as bad as the Bears, and they have no running game. So, yeah, definitely the Cowboys season is going in the wrong direction.
Yep.
Even though according to Jerry Jones, they're all in.
Yeah, I think they need to fire their GM. Yep, I think that's where your problem is in there for the Cowboys. Rich, who you got for your lock of the week?
I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I like that. That's a great pick. The Lions are hot right now, and the Jags not so much. Rich, upset special of the week. I'm going to pick the Falcons over the Broncos, as I think the Falcons can pull it off.
All right, I like the pick. So I think the Broncos maybe overachieved a little bit, and the Falcons need to right the ship. So I think they're going in the right direction. I'm going to go with the Browns over the Saints.
Okay, I like that. The Saints have been, I mean, they are looking like the good old Aints, aren't they? But I can't go with that because I can't support the Browns in any way, shape, or form.
All right, and finally, Thursday Night Football, week number 12, we'll see the Pittsburgh Steelers go to Cleveland to take on the Browns.
Well, one, I just said I can't support the Steelers, and two, I think the Browns. I also think that the Steelers are a better team. So, Steelers.
Yep, I agree. I don't want to see the Steelers win, but I gotta go with the team that's going to win.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go with the Steelers as well. All right, Mike, power rankings.
Okay.
Number one team, Mike. They're still undefeated, and even though they won it in a close game in an odd way of winning it on a blocked field goal, they still won. So I got to go with the Chiefs at number one.
2 weeks in a row that the Chiefs pull off a win out of nowhere in situations for which they shouldn't have. I continue to keep the Detroit Lions in number one.
All right. I have Detroit at number two.
I have the Kansas City Chiefs at number two.
All right. Mike, number three, I have the Buffalo Bills.
You know, I like that pick, except there's a team. So, similar to the reason why I picked the Lions, by the way, to put the Lions at number one, I'm putting the team I'm putting here at number three is currently a darling of the media, the Washington football team.
Okay. I'm having a hard time seeing it, but you know that they are obviously overachieving.
Yep.
And sometimes it doesn't matter who you win, it's that you win the games.
Yep.
That you should be winning.
Yep.
So I don't have them quite that high, but they are in my top tens. We'll get to it. Mike, who do you have at number four?
Number four, I have the Buffalo Bills.
Okay. I put the Baltimore Ravens here.
Oh, okay.
Probably a little bit of a bias on my end because of the teams that are below them.
We'll get there eventually.
But they're winning games as well.
Yeah.
I think in my opinion, yeah, they do have two bad losses against the Raiders and the Browns, but
and they've lost three, by the way. Let's add that in there.
Yep, they have lost three.
You have a few teams that have less losses
because of where their bye weeks are.
Sure, but I mean they have more wins. They have more wins.
Yeah.
So
they have the same amount of wins, but yeah.
No, they don't.
That extra loss.
No, they don't. The Ravens are 6-3. At number 5, I have the Minnesota Giants or the Minnesota Vikings at 7-2.
I had the Vikings a little bit lower.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Okay.
The Vikings have more wins.
I must have given them an extra win because I have them at 7-3 on mine, but I don't have a macro that calculates it for me. I'm manually doing mine. But number 5, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, so I actually don't mind that, and in fact, I know how hard that is for you, as our resident Steeler. What's the opposite of an apologist?
We'll go with hater.
Hater. Okay. As a Steelers hater, that must be a terrible spot for you to be in.
Yeah, I don't like it, but at the same time, I think that if they start playing up to where I thought they were, and their schedule gets a lot harder, they still haven't played the Ravens yet. The Browns always play them hard, so they could be on they'll have a fast ride down. They'll start sliding in the rankings once they start playing harder teams.
Okay.
So who do you have at number 5, Mike?
I already said the Minnesota Vikings. At number 6, however, I have the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. This is where I put the Commanders at number 6.
Not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. Yeah, that seems about right. I mean, that doesn't seem that far off. I know 3 spots is big, but I don't think that's 100% wrong. Who do you got at number 7?
This is where I put the Minnesota Vikings.
Ooh, okay. I'm intrigued by that. What's your rationale for the Vikings that low?
I just think that the Commanders, Steelers, and Ravens are a better team overall.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Obviously, I think that the Commanders are better. The Eagles, Eagles and Ravens, I don't have above them, but will. In fact, I have the Ravens here at 7.
Okay. All right. At number 8, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. I did not factor in the results of Thursday's game.
Neither did I.
The Eagles and the Commanders would probably be swapping spots.
Okay. We're at 7, or are we at 8?
8.
8. Okay. At 8, this is where I have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
I still think, as much as they say they don't have a quarterback room issue, is any other quarterback on a shorter leash in the NFL right now than Russell Wilson?
No, I don't think it is.
If Russell Wilson has one bad game, nope, we're going to Justin Fields, and that I have a problem with that. So that's why I have them down to an 8. It's that old one of our favorite adages: you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none, and that's kind of where I have it. That's kind of part of the reason why I have them there. At number 9, Rich.
I put the Houston Texans.
Ding, ding, ding. I agree. This is the first one we've agreed on. That's unusual for us. Yeah, I agree. Houston Texans are at 9. And at number 10, I have the Atlanta Falcons.
All right, I put the Green Bay Packers here.
So this is where...
But I have the Falcons at number 11.
Okay, that's fine. 100% the Green Bay Packers, my results for them are 100% my hatred for the Green Bay Packers. And I put them at 12.
Okay.
So it's not far off, but I couldn't put them above the Falcons or the Broncos for that matter. So, okay. Rich, where do you have the Chicago Bears?
I put them at 25.
Okay.
Before we talked on the air, I had them at 21, but then looking at record-wise. But what we're seeing on the field, that's when you kind of got to do a hypothetical. All right, if these teams right now went head-to-head, who would win?
Yep.
With the Colts, I think it could go either way with the way the Colts are kind of been up and down. But I think Dallas and New York, and obviously the Patriots, they played the Patriots and lost. Yep. So those teams, I guess, kind of had to be above them.
Okay.
I think the Bears are on a downward trajectory where they're going to eventually get into my bottom 5. But right now, I believe that the teams that I have in the bottom 5, that the Bears are better than them. Now, if the results keep showing that that they keep on losing, they'll eventually make their way down to my bottom 5. But not this week.
So Rich, my bottom 5. The Bears are in my bottom 5.
So Mike, why don't we start at 25? Why don't we go start at 25, Mike? Who do you have at number 25?
The Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay.
At 26, Rich?
26 is where I put the New Orleans Saints.
Okay. I don't mind that, but this is where I have the New England Patriots.
Okay. So I had to put the Patriots up at 24. At number 27 is where I have the Vegas Raiders.
Oh man, we don't have that one. Sorry, I got a wild hair that I have to itch. Okay. Okay. Never mind. I'm sorry, what did you say?
Number 27 is where I put the Raiders.
Oh, okay. Well, at 27, I have the Miami Dolphins.
Okay. Is that because of how they're handling the Tua situation?
How about how the way Tua's handling the Tua situation? I'm gonna use my head to close doors. I'm gonna use.
To make a tackle, yeah. I mean,
you can make
leading with his head to make a tackle.
You can do things. You can make a tackle in a better way. You can take a hit in a better way, and yet you're just gonna lead with your head every time.
All right. So finally getting into the bottom 5, Mike. 28 is where you have the Cleveland Browns.
This is where I have the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay. Number 29 is where I put the Carolina Panthers.
New York Football Giants.
Okay. All right. Number 30, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, guess who I have at 30, Rich? The Chicago Bears. I couldn't put them below the Tennessee Titans at 31.
Yep. The Titans is where I put who I have at number 31 as well. And number 32 is the New York Football Giants.
See, I still have the Carolina Panthers here.
Okay. Even with a better record. And
not than the Giants. They have the exact same record as the Giants.
They beat the Giants.
They have the same record. They have the same record as the Giants. So, they might have lost to them, but
no, the Panthers are 3-7. The Football Giants are 2-8.
Are they 2-8?
Yep.
Then we have a game wrong.
And the Titans are 2-8.
We have a game wrong in our what's it called? Sorry, because
the Jacksonville is 2-8.
Okay. Well, so the problem is that when you look at I do it based on on how our wins losses are posted in here, and somehow
I will check those once we get done. I'll make sure that I have the wins and losses correct.
Yeah. Okay. I fixed it. Okay, actually, so I'd probably put Tennessee at 32, and looking with that information, somebody had put the Giants at as a win this last week, so that is where I had done that. So that would change it, and so I
mean, granted, the Giants have beaten the Browns and the Steelers, two teams that are ranked much higher than the 3 rankings where the Panthers are at with the Giants, the Saints, and the Raiders. So they have better victories.
So now that I've done that, let me give you an updated. Oh man, I did not do it there. Okay. Okay, let me go here. Okay. So what that's going to do, it's going to move the Carolina Panthers up to 30th. The Bears are going to be up to 29th. The Giants are 31, and the Titans are 32.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So my apologies if I put a win instead of a loss somewhere along the line. So that was our power rankings. Tune in next week to find out where we put the Bears and if there were any adjustments to the top 10, which I think there will be as divisional games are starting up for a lot of teams and schedules are starting to get harder.
Yeah, the Bears are going to look worse. Like they have 6 of their, and I'm not, again, this is not me trying to, even going into the season, we said this is where the Bears start to look bad. Or not look bad, but this is where they come down to earth. Because they have 6 of the next 8 games are against division games. Those can go either way, don't get me wrong. But our division has, according to you, 3 of the top 10 teams are from the NFC North, which we have to face each of them twice. Also,
you get Seattle and
San Francisco, 2 above 15 teams, 2 top half teams. Also, the Bears are hot garbage right now. So, yeah. Okay. With that, Rich, let's head off the gridiron. Let's head to the diamond. And before we head to the diamond for that, we'll give a spoiler alert. We're going to talk about the Masked Singer. We're going to do that. It's going to happen. So if you don't want to know what happened this week, we'll see you next week. Same place, YouTube or podcast place. Okay, with that, Rich, let's talk about the diamond, and then we're going to immediately go into Masked Singer. So.
All right. So this week it was announced that the Tampa Bay Rays would be playing the entire 2025 season at George M. Steinbrenner Field across the bay in Tampa, which is the spring training home field of the New York Yankees and home to their Class A affiliate, the Tampa Tarpons. So they're going to be playing in a stadium that seats roughly like 11,000 people for the season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I want to go, but I'm guessing that it's going to be expensive.
It could be expensive. I think I was reading one story while I was waiting in line to get some Whitey's ice cream this week when the news broke, and them talking about, other than when high ticket visiting teams come to town, other than when they play like the Yankees and the Red Sox and probably the Dodgers and Cubs, road teams that travel well, they're probably not. That's probably going to be an advantage for them to be in an 11,000 seat stadium.
Yep.
But they could lose money when they play those high ticket road teams.
Yeah.
That often pack the stadium when those teams come to the Tampa area.
Yep.
But we'll see. So they'll join the Athletics in playing in a minor league baseball stadium for the year.
I actually like that as a thing, but okay. So
anything from esports, Mike?
Nothing's changed this week. We just are going to state, so we're ranked 4th, same as last week. We leave Thursday. I'll post on my page, and hopefully it'll get shared over to the esports or to the show page where you can find the matches and all that. So, but I'll try to put updates out there too.
All right, Mike. Masked Singer.
Okay.
So, Mike, who is your favorite singer of the evening?
Man,
being a new group.
This was a great. Actually, so last week I said, man, this group B is the best group by far of anybody we've seen. Nobody, you can't beat it. It's the best. Man, this group came out swinging. The Royal Knight really shocked. Royal Knight did great. The Sherlock Hound did great. Ice King did good. If he would have been anywhere else, if it would have been anybody else, I think like if he would have been in another group, he would have done. It would have sounded significantly better. And then Strawberry Shortcake did really well too. My favorite though was the Royal Knight.
All right, I liked the Strawberry Shortcake the best.
Okay.
But the one competitor that we didn't touch base. Okay. Other thing with it being a new group, who was your favorite costume?
I really like the Ice King.
Okay.
I really like the Ice King.
You? I'm gonna have to go with Sherlock Hound.
Yeah, that's a good one too. My wife liked that one too. The macaroon was really cool. I liked it. There were some unique design features in it that, unbeknownst to some, gave a clue.
It did. So, the macaroon went home. We always show, like in Group A, there's always that one obvious singer that you know is going to go home.
Yep.
And they saved that singer for the last performance of the night.
Here's what I got to say, though. She was karaoke okay. So I have ratings on this show, and I should probably talk about it more on here. There's the karaoke scale is kind of one of the things that I do here. And the karaoke scale, she's okay in the karaoke scale. She's not somebody that if she got up for karaoke that you'd be like, you suck, boo. No. You have people that get up for karaoke and everybody starts laughing and you walk away. She wasn't that bad, but she wasn't good. And she wasn't even karaoke great. She was karaoke okay. But everybody else was good. And not even karaoke good. They were good. So it was obvious that she was going home.
Yep. But Mike, who was the macaroon?
The macaroon, ladies and gentlemen, was my website that I have doesn't even have it right now.
I more know her as Soul Surfer.
Yeah,
the person that had a movie made about her.
Yep.
Because of a accident.
Bethany Hamilton.
Bethany Hamilton. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
So I more know her of what happened to her more than her name, which was she was attacked by a shark that took one of her arms.
Ate her left arm. So, yeah, totally awesome. And in fact, Rich, the macaroon's left arm was positioned such that it didn't move in any way, shape, or form, which gave your wife the final clues to piece it together. It was great. I enjoyed it. Again, I look forward to Group C. Group C seems to be really good, almost as good as Group B at times. So I'm excited for it.
Now, Mike, do you think that there is a singer in that group where you wish the bell was available for up to this point? Or is it still too early to tell?
Honestly, I think it's slightly too early to tell, but I think I personally think that Strawberry Shortcake, Sherlock Hound, and Royal Knight all have the chops that any one of them could go on, and I'm kind of bummed that they don't have the bell to save one of them at the end of this Group B. So
okay. Do you think if the bell was mainly used to not give you an automatic pass to the semifinals, but used as all right, we're going to keep you around, but you're now being added to Group C. So do you think the goo would have the chops to carry on in the competition and win that group?
Rich, we do have to wrap it up. We're at an hour and 4 minutes.
Sorry.
But let me answer. I want to answer the question because I think it's a good question. I really liked the seasons when the bell put you in a special losers bracket, essentially, and that was how you got that. You then had to win the losers bracket in order to get into the finals. I think if you take that part of the bell, so each group gets a bell, And I would argue that it should be used as the last one. Like, you can't you have to save somebody on the double elimination night. Because most of the time, any of those 3 in the double elimination are good enough to save. You don't want to save somebody in the second round or the first round. Don't do that whole, because the year they did that, they also did the bell is, every group has a bell, but each week we add somebody new to the if you remember, they added someone new and then eliminated, like, so one of the people that got saved was eliminated, was only sang once, and then got eliminated, got saved, and sent through, only had to sing 3 times to get to the finals.
Yeah, I think I do remember that season.
Don't like that one, but I think I think this format so far has been the best format. Now I think add the bell in once for each group, and then have one night of a double elimination, no bell, no saving anybody. Those 3 go against each other, and then the winner of that gets to go on. And I think that's the best way for it. So, does that answer your question?
A little bit, but I think overall, I mean,
I still think the goo is great, and I think the goo, I don't know that the goo is better than everybody on this list, but I think he's better than all but at least, I would say at least 1, if not 2 of the people in this group. So, kind of my feelings on it. Okay.
All right, Mike.
Any shout-outs for the week, Rich?
I don't.
Okay. Then, Rich, go ahead and take us out.
All right. So, thanks everybody for listening, and Mike, go ahead and roll that outro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.